Hi friends, now I would be going ahead and we will check it out as to what is the format for taking up, when I'm taking care of my note making, what kind of a format I need to follow and how should we proceed further. So here we go ahead and understand the importance of note making and the formatting part of it. Now here we would see that it's a recording which deals a lot of important details that we have to make from a given source. Now the source can be a book, a lecture, I should say if you're attending a faculty development program, the notes that you are going to take it, which can be useful for your coming years. Maybe it can be used in your lecture or while you're delivering or teaching a bunch of students or the faculties, or you are in a conference attending a seminar and you want to make quickly the notes and all. So here there are certain things, or even while you're taking I would say, or oral interviews, or when you go ahead and you're doing what we call it as the qualitative, research, and you are heavily into conducting those interviews. At that time, you need to make the note making very good one. I'm just talking about these things in general terms rather than in specific subject domains. Like in law, it's a very different kind of a thing. However, I feel that even if you are trained into that, or in the management, or as a journalist, combine all of them together and you can go ahead and you can incorporate them. And that's what I'm going to do it, because I was into it and I learned those skills myself, and I thought, let me go ahead and share it with the rest of the world also. In note making, always remember the writer records the essence of the information that is being shared with him or her. Now this later on allows you to understand while you're reading it, maybe in future times when you have yourself attended and you really want to use it for your own purposes. So we will have to see what exactly it is. Now here you have to understand that it has a greater importance maybe in the examinations or in the academic writings, number one. Number two, even if you are giving a presentation in an organization, you can use them and it really looks very good. And note making, trust me, when you are doing your review of literature or you're writing a paper, or these things becomes much more easier if you follow it very clearly. It helps in recollecting and recalling the past events that were told to you or you were attending and you made a note of it. Then it also helps in concentrating, understanding, and in providing a permanent record. It's etched in your brains, I would say, for permanently. And then note making also helps a writer to go through the bulky documents in a very quick fashion. You don't have to sit and reread the entire article. If you have made the notes, that makes it much more easier. And then it helps in understanding a material of the notes that you are writing in your own words, or you have noted down what the person has given to you and you're jotting it down properly. And it distinguishes between the main points and the details. Now you don't want to incorporate each and every detail that the person has given to you. You want to retain what are the important points. Now here when you are taking up the notes, there's a proper format that you need to follow, especially when you're writing it. So here, before I can go ahead and give you the rest of the color codes and the uses, I thought, okay, let me go ahead and make you understand what the note making formats are, so that we are able to learn and we are able to take care of them. First is the heading. In fact, before heading, I would say even the titles and subtitles are also there. However, here they have started off with the heading part of it. Title is the topic on which the particular subject or the topic of discussion has been done. That's the title for you. And subtitle would be whatever notes you are making it. Let's say if you're talking about the market segmentation, so your broader title would be market segmentation, and between that you want to write a subtitle. It would be, let's say, demographic segment you want to talk about, or price segment, or you want to discuss about brand segment. That becomes your subtitle. Okay, now heading would be what topic of the market segmentation under the demographic sector are we talking about. So there comes in, are you talking about age, are you talking about the lifestyle? So these are the certain subheadings it would be. The subheading, as the name suggests, it's the subdivision of the main topic. So one can use as many subheadings as he or she. Now if you are going and trying different softwares, or the online modes that are there for taking up the note taking, you would see that MS Word, which is the most common one, if you will see, it has got the normal, the heading 1 2 3 4 5. I don't know, when I'll be going through that part of it, I'll showcase it, and you can see how many of them varieties of it is there and how much we can use it. In fact, I would be asking each one of you, how many of them are we literally using in our own writings also. And then we can see out here the pointers below subheading. There are some points which are the part of the main topic, so the bullet forms or the points that you want to take care of it. Now here we can see the subheading. One can add more headings below the points for having for showing the category, the types, advantages, etc., key or keywords. Now here when you're writing especially an abstract for a paper, now that is the one reason why I have come upon this point also, so that you are slowly moving towards that particular domain also side by side under the academic writing. So once I have completed with the note making, we will be going ahead for the review of literature where I have ended, and then I'll proceed further for the writing purposes and for taking up the different formats also side by side. Now keyword, the key portion of the note shows the various codes, symbols or abbreviations that we have used. Now this is when you're making your own note making. What kind of a keywords are you using? It is it specific to you or something that is very generally provided in the market you're going to use it? So here the keywords are also present. Now this is an one example that they have used. Heading or the title of the topic, though they have put a slash out here, heading and title. However, I would say first one would be the title, the next one would be the subtitle, then comes heading, then subheading 1, and below that these are the points that you have got. Then you can go for subheading 2 and the below points of it. Then the key and how many words are there, that also has to be taken care. So this is just one example that I have shown to you. Then the procedure for note making, read the passage that has been given. Now this is after you have taken the notes, how well you're making it, note making you're going to take care. Underline the important sentences. It helps to make the headings and subheading. Make a rough note first so as to get. Now see, initially when you are taking care and bringing it into your own system of incorporating it, it will become very difficult. I know, first and second. However, from the third onwards or the fourth onwards of your note making technique, trust me, this becomes very easier. You don't have to work hard so much. The first 2-3 parts or even the first 5 will take some time. However, lay your hands on that, put your hands and get used to this particular system. Organize them in logical order or sequence for the final note. Use the appropriate note making format. Do not change the idea or the messages that has been given to you in the passage. So this is something. And then more points, avoid using long sentences or heading or the title. Now usually I've seen people write such a long sentences in the title, and I wonder what is the use of the title, the subtitles. I mean, I really get irritated when I see such a long heading, especially when I see some of the articles that are being published or the research papers. I like crisp, clear, short, and that gives you the message. So that's also an art in which you will need to take care of certain things. And formatting definitely of a paper is what we are looking forward, and it's also an art and makes you understand that yes, what kind of a system you are in and how much have you been trained into it. Now the format, the note making involves the selection, analysis, summarization, organization of the information. So these are certain things that you need to remember. Let us make ourselves familiar with some of them. What are they? Split page format, a narrative note making format method. In this method, the page is divided into columns, and that's why I introduced you the column method. In which we are dividing the entire page into the columns, and then I'll show you certain examples today, maybe in this particular parts only, and we will see how well they are taking care of this one. The diagram or the pattern format, a visual note making format method. In this method, the information is presented by a diagram, usually the mind maps, and they are wonderful. When I was going through the mind maps, I said, wow, this is the wonderful way to give the snapshot or the screenshot to the student and make them understand, okay, I'm going to start off with this particular thing and I'll be moving like this. The entire visualization is there and the student knows, okay, this is what the topic is. And we will see those things also in our future series of this particular, I would say, topic itself. Then comes the different formats, as I was telling you. It's a mind map. Then we have got the outline format, the question and the prompt format. We will see what these are and how well they have been used. And trust me, here I've just noted down just in bullet forms 1 to 3 sentences. However, the mind map itself takes a complete training has been given by a person in UK, and I have seen that he has spent the entire week to explain how to proceed further with the mind mapping. Similarly, with the outline format, it looks very simple to us. However, if you have taken that particular training and you have incorporated it, you will see how fun it is to proceed further with the learning or with the writing aspect of it. Then we have got the strategies of taking up. One of the strategies I have already discussed with you, taking the help of this heading and the subheading. Make short and easier way to understand heading and the subheadings. Find the central idea or the main outline of the topic, and be more thorough in the second reading so that we are able to proceed further with the subheadings also side by side. The content of it, write the most relevant content, remove unnecessary illustrations, examples from your notes we don't want, and then plan your entire content, divide and subdivide so that it is easier for you. And do not, because you are learning something and you really want to retain the entire concept or the theoretical aspect of it, so never include your own interpretation. This is not a research paper, you're making a note of something, so your interpretation, your ideas, your suggestions are not supposed to be included at all. Write the conclusion in your own words that you're taking care. Readability, definitely yes, avoid ambiguity, we don't want that. Catchy notes for yourself, avoid confusions, and as far as possible start using the abbreviations in your own note making, and once we are trained into it, you will be able to understand. It is a process of writing down. When you are writing the notes itself, you have to understand that yes, it's a complete writing process is applicable, and there is a need for briefing down the details also. And similarly, the format is there. These are the characteristic features that are present, and one has to understand that there are two ways of note making. One, we call it as the linear, and the other one is the non-linear method of it. Now, have you ever heard about these words? Now, trust me, I knew that yes, there is something, and I was trained into using the color codes or making the notes, each and everything. However, these are also the techniques to be understood while you are making your own notes, is something that I was surprised to learn myself. Now, linear note making is simplest form of note making. Now, inclusion of the visualization takes place in what we call it as the non-linear note making. Common form, which is all of us are using it, whereas for the non-linear, diagrammatical representations and ideas and details are present in our notes completely. It is a structured manner, that means we go step by step, one after the other, and there's a proper structure to it. Whereas in non-linear, you will see it includes mind maps, tree diagrams, tables, flow charts, graphs, tables, etc., etc., etc. All the figures, illustrations, all those things are coming in. Now, when I'm talking about the structure, definitely yes, heading, subheading, and the points are made use of it. Whereas under the non-linear, you will see the details are understood in a quick manner, and then I'm able to proceed further in a much cleaner way of thinking about a particular concept, or you can say even the theory aspect of it. Now, linear note making goes downward direction. It is not upward movement that we do. We start off with the title and we are ending up with the points which are going to be present in that particular topic or the title that we are covering. Whereas in non-linear, there is no direction. You can move, and we will see once I introduce to you what we call it as the mind maps, and you will be able to understand them. Then later on, you will see that yes, under this, the process, the formatting of it, again I have come up heading or the title. Depends upon you how well you will be doing it or taking care of it. And and this is again a repetition of mine that I would be showcasing to you certain online formats, and I'll start off with the MS Word, because we focus a lot of these things, writing aspect, through MS Word, and we will see what are the different formats that we have got over there. Then comes what we call it as the subheading. As the name suggests, a subheading is a subdivision of the main topic, and the points are also present for our subheading. One can add more headings below. However, if you go to MS Word, you will see it will be talking about heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and you can either repeat them or you can go further more and more into it. Then comes what we call as indentation. It refers to the proper alignment and spacing in the written matter. Now there has to be their proper marginalization from right hand to the left hand side also. Now while writing, fine, you can take care of the subheadings, points, subpoints, subheadings, subheadings, etc. Now clearly indentation offers a well defined structure for a note as to how much you have left it on the left hand side and how much you have kept the space open from the right hand side also, side by side. So you will see that writing is not just like that. Now the key which I was discussing is another interpretation of it. When a person writes a note, he or she uses some keys to save time. Now these are the shortcut abbreviated forms that you are going to. So instead of writing the complete word maximum, maximum, you can simply write max dot. So that's your short. So that's why they have used the word abbreviations, and these are some of the pointers that we need to remember, especially when I'm talking about the abbreviations. Then we have when to use it. Now abbreviations, how are we supposed to use even while I'm making the note making technique? What are the ways? There are certain guidelines which has been given. Using the beginnings of the words like information, instead of writing information with the complete word, I can simply write info. Nowadays I've seen that we have started even incorporating in our communication, the verbal communication also. Instead of saying that let me provide you the information, I can simply say please provide me with the further info. You see, we do use them. Now statistics I don't use, we simply say the stats or stat. Now similarly for maximum and minimum, which is the most common format. Then here we have got the beginnings of the words with the last letter. Now for example, department, I don't have to write the complete word. Similarly for the government. Now similarly for the word production, though in some countries they use the word PRODN for the production, however we can even use PROD. Now so these are something I don't know how many of you are aware that yes, we have got a complete training program, what we call it as the company secretarial. Okay, now there I have seen there is a complete modules focusing exclusively on note taking, and the shortcut keys or the abbreviation forms, which I'll be showcasing it in maybe after two parts on the note making, and you will see how well they have used those abbreviations in their own shortcut while they are keying the words or typing, or even while they are writing it. Omitting vowels, like complete problem, I don't have to write, I can simply write, like I told you, it totally yours. You can just drop vowels and you can write the other consonants, and word you can use like this. School, definitely yes, you can use it in this format. Using the first and the last letter of a word, like mount, MT, which is a very common one, Mr, MR, Mrs, MRS. So these things are available. Then shortening the suffix at the end of the word, like production, distribution, marketing, all these things we have seen. Then symbols, acronyms also. Side by side you will see that instead of writing telephone, we just write the triangle and we format with the specs kind of a thing on top of the triangle that stands for the telephone, and that's how we do it. And that's a very important one. Now that's what I wanted to share it in this particular part about the formatting and what are the main things. So we have learned in this that yes, there is something called a title, subtitles, heading, and different kinds of headings with I would say abbreviations, symbols, and how to use some of the shortcut keys into our own writing. So let me proceed further with yet another part, and that will be focusing exclusively on the color codes. Till then, thanks, bye.